Minecraft Live was literally yesterday. As of this recording, it was very energetic. It was just like I was really excited about all the updates, even though I was skeptical about one, but I ended up liking it at the end anyway. I may prefer other updates a bit more, but you know what? I actually was really surprised and wowed with what this year's showcase of the next major update of Minecraft had. So today we're going to talk about the cave update. And then in the next week, we'll talk about everything else. Before we get on with this video, please subscribe. We are close. We have 55 subscribers, and we're getting to that closer to that 60 subscriber mark, then 70, 80, then 90, and then obviously 100. So please subscribe. With that said, let's move on to the Caves and Cliffs update announcement right now.
Hi, Agnes and Brandon.
Hi.
Hello.
Let's do this.
So, okay, the next update is the update that we know that so many of you, and well, so many of us as well, has been wanting for such a long time. It's the Caves and Cliffs update.
It must feel amazing to be able to tell everyone that.
Seriously, I'm so excited about this. I mean, even before I joined Mojang, I was always thinking about when is the cave update gonna come? And this is it, but it's also got the cliffs as well. It's got the mountains. This is such a big update, and I'm so excited.
How are you feeling, Agnes?
Great, no, it's so good. So we have been working on this update for quite long, and we're we can't wait to tell everyone, and now we just announced it, and it feels
We're actually
amazing.
getting our first live look at some reactions.
Oh,
Okay, that's very cute.
so cute.
Those mobs are very, very excited.
The Caves and Cliffs update. Rounds of applause. I was a little skeptical about this, but even when they announced it, I didn't even see the features yet. I was like, you know what? I haven't seen the updates yet, so we're gonna do this. And they said it was something interesting. They said they've been working on this for a long time, so they wanted to get it perfect just for all of us, which is very nice. They really care about the community. It really shows that. So we're gonna get probably since the cave up content, which we're gonna get into in a second, and also the mountain content, which we've been waiting for since a year, which we've also been waiting for. So let's get into the next part on my list.
Are you making the caves more advanced for older players so they can mine deep, or are you making them more accessible and easy to navigate for newer players?
Such a great question.
Yeah, I mean, with this update, we're making sure that we can have as much variation as possible within the actual caves themselves, but we want to make sure that the old caves are still retained as much as possible to keep that classic feel.
Yeah, and we really also looked into to make sure that we have something for everyone, because we have such a huge community, and it's also a very diverse community, and that's such a beautiful thing. So we really want this update to have something for everyone. So actually, we made sure to map all the features in the update to different player styles to really see that we fulfill that goal.
That's so cool. And you had such a big thought process on how you decide what even goes into an update this big.
Yeah, we have spent quite a lot of time on just making sure that we have a very good fundament for the update. For example, we did the player style mapping, and we've also worked with design pillars. So the design pillars, they kind of describe the vision of the update. So for example, they help us when we prioritize between different features, and also when we design each specific feature. And we have 3 pillars for this update. And the first one is actually all about the spectacular mountains, the snowy snow, and the mischievous goats. Because at last year's live, the players voted for these features, and we felt it's so important to deliver on that promise. So we actually wanted to have it as a pillar.
Yeah, and another pillar that we actually integrated into this was adding strategy to mining. So of course, Minecraft already has plenty of strategy in mining, but we wanted to see if we could push that just a little bit further and add even more mechanics that make it interesting for players to mine in the caves.
Yeah, and the third pillar is to create an underground of marvel for the players. And that pillar is a lot about adding variation to them.
They literally made pillars for us, guys. They really care about the community. Just want to put that in there, but now let's get into the first little thing. I just really want to say how they just really care about the community. That's why I really love Minecraft, because they're really invested. Most games are just we upload, we put in what kind of features we want in the game if we want to. It makes us money. Minecraft does it is a little bit different. It's because it explains. It's like people say, okay, I want this. We explain what we want, and they put it into the game. But seriously, let's get on to the next thing on my list.
Voted for these features, and we felt like it's so important to deliver on that promise, so we actually wanted to have it as a pillar.
Yeah, and another pillar that we actually integrated into this was adding strategy to mining. So of course Minecraft already has plenty of strategy in mining, but we wanted to see if we could push that just a little bit further and add even more mechanics that make it interesting for players to mine in the caves.
Yeah, and the third pillar is to create an underground of marvel for the players. And that pillar is a lot about like adding variation to the underground and like contrasts and like inspire players to like craft their own underground adventures and build underground. And one thing we have done to like fulfill this pillar is that we have added new cave biomes, and one of them is the lush caves.
It's so beautiful. It doesn't feel cave-like.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make sure that, of course, in Minecraft, all the original caves, you know, they're pretty much the same. There's not much variation in terms of vegetation or different features inside of it. So for this, we wanted something which is a bit more like light and lush and actually has vegetation. And I mean, I think it looks amazing.
It's gorgeous. What was the inspiration behind it?
So we were thinking about, okay, so how should it feel when you are in a lush cave? And we wanted to be like, so you feel like very tiny inside like a big garden or big forest. So like when you look up, it's actually like vegetation above you, it's vegetation around you. And one source of inspiration we had is actually a Swedish painter called John Bauer, because in his paintings it's always, or often at least, like a tiny character, and then it's like huge forest, and you see like the bottom of the trees because the vegetation is like so big compared to the character.
Lush caves. Now that is just beautiful. Just the vegetation. It's very beautiful. And also another interesting thing she said, like they're adding biomes to. It's just like the Nether update. They're adding biomes. They're adding biomes to the caves, which is also interesting. So could we possibly see even more? Like they announced some, but then they ended up adding a few more. Well, one more. But anyway, let's get on to the next thing on my list right now.
In the lush caves, and they have glow berries on them, and these are actually a light source. And you can also pick them and eat them if you want to.
Nice.
Yes. And another plant we actually have is the drip leaf plant. And you can actually see that they can kind of grow from like water or anywhere else. And they grow quite tall, but they have like a little plant on the top that you can actually hop onto. So the idea of the mechanic behind it is that the leaf will actually tilt down when you stand on it too long. So this will actually make you fall through. However, after a few seconds, it'll come back up. So it's kind of this like platforming block that allows you to just, you know, continue platforming over and over again, which I hope is really exciting for, you know, content creators making maps.
Yeah, you can build like your own platforming levels, and then they will repair themselves. That's kind of neat.
It's so beautiful in there. And there's actually a mob coming to the lush caves.
Yes, there is. But we will actually not tell you about this mob now, because in the end of the show we will show even more features coming to the Caves and Cliffs update. And then we're gonna show that mob.
This is the first time we have
more fruits. I knew it. I saw that in the Lush Caves update. Cave update. I saw when I was watching it on stream, but nobody really watched. I saw like things that looked like berries, and I said, "Big brain. I think I feel berries coming on." So berries, or some it's fruit. I don't know what it is. Berries or fruit, whatever. It's edible. It's another food brought into Minecraft. Surprised we didn't get any more food for the another update, but whatever. So let's get on to the next thing. So next thing is the like little cool platform things, like the little, I don't forget what they're called, like the little vines things that you can walk up and they always go down, which is really good for map creators. Like that's really good for map creators. So I can't wait see what you guys come up with. I'll be playing your maps maybe on a stream soon once the cave update releases and I do some videos. So who knows what I'll be in the next year. Anyway, let's get on to the next thing on my list.
A cave generation.
Yes.
Yeah, so as you can see here, I mean, this is drastically different to what caves used to look like. And there's definitely still the old style of caves, but we wanted to make sure that there was much more variety in the sort of caves and the shapes and the sizes you could get. And even here, you can see that there's some water underground.
Yes, so we actually added something we call local water levels. So in one cave might find like a cave lake, and another cave might not have that one. And this also means that we get naturally generated waterfalls, which is so pretty. And it also kind of gives like new ways to traverse the underground. You can actually go cave rafting.
Yeah, so you'll see in a bit that our player here will actually use a boat to raft. And that is just such an exciting opportunity to be able to traverse the caves in a very different way than you used to.
Yeah, we were playtesting, and then one of the devs like, look at this, it's so fun, and all of us just started to go with the boat on the waterfall. It was a lot of fun.
So another thing to note here is that you could see that a lot of the ores were actually glowing. This is just for preview purposes. Ores aren't going to glow now. It's just that the caves tend to be quite dark, and we want to make sure that players can see the shapes of the cave.
Now, will that only be for the like normal caves, or will this run across all of the new cave biomes?
Yeah, so the really cool thing is that like the new cave shapes and sizes is completely independent from the new biomes. So that means that we have so much variation. Because, for example, a lush cave can, for example, generate, in a super narrow tunnel, but it can also generate in like a huge cavern, and that creates completely different atmospheres, but it's still the same biome. So we're really going to have lots of variation underground now.
You've been calling two of the different cave types spaghetti and Swiss cheese? Like that's how varied the caves could be?
Yes, I mean, there are so many different variables for how the variation works, and I mean, it has even more variation than the overworld itself.
I actually expected this, but didn't expect all of that. Cave Generation is getting a massive update. It's still going to have the same feel, like he said. It's still going to have the same feel as the old cave, just like an OG like me who's been playing since 2014. Still have that old feel, but new caves for newer players. The water, more waterfalls, like deeper. It just felt really deep now. Like the caves felt deeper. I like the caves how they were, but I thought they were going to change them drastically with all the screenshots I used to see. But seeing that's pretty cool. So new water, like the water is going to generate differently. Just the whole caves. It all is just going to generate differently, which is really, really cool. All right, now let's get on to the next thing on my list right now.
Very nice. And you have another new cave biome to show us.
Yes, so we have the Dripstone Caves biome. And whenever I think about the idea of a cave update, the image of stalagmites and stalactites comes into my head. But adding these are pretty difficult. It's a very unique shape that Minecraft isn't really accustomed to, but I think the way that the artist put it into Minecraft works quite well. And of course, there's some mechanics surrounding this, so you can see that someone destroyed the block up the top, and so the dripstone fell down. And also, unfortunately for this zombie here, if you fall on these dripstones, you will get hurt.
Poor zombie.
There's another interesting mechanic in the Dripstone Caves.
Yes, so maybe you saw in the video that like from the stalactites, you could see that it was like dripping water. So actually, if you put a cauldron under a stalactite, it will fill up with water. So it's renewable water.
And how do you remember which is stalactites and stalagmites?
Well, that's a very good question. It has been very tricky to remember that, but I think I learned. So we actually, it's hold on tight to stalactite. I was going to say the wrong one. So stalactite is in the roof and stalagmite is on the floor.
Stalactites and stalagmites. Now, I thought this was going to be in the cave update, and this was what I was afraid of, but all these things announced, I was really afraid of. Like, I didn't want them to change them too much, since I've been playing since, like, for 6 years. I'm like, do you really want to change all this? But now I was like, These are pretty cool, and I really want these. But the only problem, I have to go all the way, like use a nether portal just to go all the way somewhere just to find these things. But still, it's really cool. Stalactites and stalagmites. I thought of this even when I was skeptical. Even when I started liking the cave update, I thought of this. I would say I think they're gonna do like those cool spike things, the cool mechanics, the way they fall. I didn't expect that, and I didn't know the way like you die instant. Well, it was a zombie, so I don't think that it would die instantly. But still, you fall and then you die. Well, at least you get injured. So like, just imagine you're in a cave, you drop a rock down, and just like in a movie. But anyway, let's get on to the next thing on my list.
Time, like even.
And you have something really amazing in this update for the sort of redstone engineers out there.
Yes, so we've actually been thinking about this redstone block that lives in the deep dark, a new biome at the deepest depths of the world. We're not going to talk about this biome too much today, but we are going to show some of the blocks and maybe later a mob that comes from it. So if we look at the video, we can actually see that it's basically this growth, and this is called the Skulk blocks. And one of the blocks is called the Skulk sensor. This is the new redstone block. As you can see, when you place or destroy a block, or if you have footsteps, it'll actually detect the vibrations around and then emit a redstone signal. So this is going to be very interesting for redstone players. We even have a mechanic around it where you can actually use wool with wool occlusion to essentially prevent signals from being able to get into the Skulk sensor. So let's take a look at that now. And as you can see here, I walked next to the Skulk sensor, and it's actually kind of doing an infinite loop where the piston is causing a vibration, and then it's activating the Skulk sensor and going over and over again. But here, I've actually put a wool block in between the piston, which prevents the signal from going to the Skulk sensor. This can allow you to even do sort of directional Skulk sensors where you can put wool blocks on each side and only allow it to detect vibrations in front of it. And vibrations can be so many different things. You know, it can be a snowball hit, it could be an arrow, it could be footsteps, it could be blocks, anything.
So cool.
Yeah.
And another thing, we had a bit of an happy accident with this because we realized that we get wireless redstone thanks to the Skulk sensor.
Yes.
So, and we didn't even plan to add it, but then when we started playtesting, we're like, wait, we got wireless redstone, and that's so exciting. And well, you can just build so many cool things with that. It's going to be exciting to see what the community will build.
Yeah, you're really looking for community feedback to make sure this like feels great for everyone.
Skulk growth, Skulk block, and I think Skulk sensor. It's so cool. Like literally, you can like this. I'm also noticing the Skulk sensor. It's kind of like a redstone repeater, but a lot differently. You don't have to use one item with the piston. That's like another redstone repeater. That's another option you can use for the redstone repeater. So another option for that redstone sensors, wireless redstone. Now I was gonna do a whole animation for this, but I don't really feel like doing it. Especially this video is gonna get longer than it already has to. But switch to redstone sensor, you get $25 a month. So I don't know, whatever. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Wireless redstone. That's what I was really looking at. Wireless redstone. Tired of getting so much redstone in a cave? You don't have to go all the way deep in the cave. Just switch to a wireless redstone to get less, but still deeper in the cave. New biome. So could we possibly see more biomes like I said before? I don't know. Well, let's move on to the next thing. And this one's a little bit creepy in my opinion. And I think in everyone else's opinion, unless you're super brave, not like me.
It's the best block that it can be.
And now we said there's another mob coming later, but I think it's time for a new mob coming to the Caves and Cliffs update.
It is. And this is a very scary mob. And it lives in the deepest of the underground, in the deep dark. And this is a very dark place. And the cool thing is that this mob is very well adapted to the environment. So it can't see anything. So it's the first blind mob in Minecraft. And that's very interesting because it gives such interesting mechanics. So instead, it will react to vibrations, just like the Skulk sensor block. So if you aren't very careful when you walk around in the deep dark, you might upset that mob.
Yeah, with this mob, we really wanted to make sure that we kind of recaptured that feeling of the first night of Minecraft. And like we can often forget that Minecraft can be a pretty scary game. So we wanted to make sure that we could kind of go back to that. I mean, caves can be scary, they're dark. And all I'm going to say is that when you go into the deep dark, I want to make sure that you're very quiet and watch closely for the warden.
What did we just see?
It's a very different mob. I'm really excited for this because not only is it trying to be scary, it's, we had to keep a balance to it. It was very challenging to design a mob like this. Another thing that's really important to note is in that video, I was wearing full netherite armor, so it's very powerful. You
That's a
definitely want to watch
dangerous
out. Yeah.
First blind mob in Minecraft turns out to be the most hostile and most animated. Must I say, most animated. Just look at the animation, the way it's roaring. It just looks like just looks straight up picked up right out of a mod and put into Minecraft. It's just so many. It has so many mechanics. The way it's just like the cloak sensors. It uses the little vibrations and the little blue lines things, and then it gets the vibrations and hears you. So you really need to be careful mining deep in these kinds of caves. I just really be careful, guys. Like, that guy looks menacing. He was wearing full netherite armor and he still died in like 2 smacks. So maybe we'll get something more ores for that. They didn't announce any more ores, but we'll get into that in a second. Well, they didn't announce any more ores, but I'll get on to why they didn't, or they didn't. I don't know why they didn't. But anyway, let's move on to the next thing on my list.
Plants, you get crystal shards items, and you can actually use them to craft a telescope.
That is amazing.
It is. It's such a useful item. Super cool. And the cool thing is that, so yes, you use the crystal shards to craft them, but you also need something more, and that's also a new thing that we added. It's copper!
That's amazing.
Yes, it's new ore. And you saw the copper ore in the video. And a very interesting thing with the copper ore is that it generates in a different way. So normal ores often generate like an ore blob, but copper is different. So imagine that you are out mining and you see copper ore. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna mine the copper. And then you see some stone. It's like, they look a bit different. So you continue to mine. And then you find another copper ore. And you probably go like, okay, I think I found a copper vein. So we're actually adding ore veins to Minecraft. And like they really add so much to mining. It gets so interesting because it's kind of like following a trace when you mine. And they tie so well to the pillar we have about adding strategy to mining.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you've personally wanted copper in the game since you start, maybe before you started?
Yeah.
You mentioned it once or twice.
Well, maybe a few times. But yes, so I think I got inspired by the pretty copper roofs in Stockholm, and
yes.
they are all green because we have so many like old buildings here, and we've actually added that mechanic to Minecraft as well. So you know, if you place a copper block, it will first be orange, but after a while, a pretty long time, it will turn green. And it's something, I think it's so cool, because it actually adds history to Minecraft. Because, for example, if you have a really old Minecraft world, then you can see on like a house and like, oh, the roof turned all green, and then you know that that house has been there for a really long time.
And copper won't only be used for the telescope. You actually have another really cool thing that you'll be able to craft with it.
Yeah. So Jens talked a bit before about these design principles that we have in Minecraft. And one of them is that if something bad happens, the player either caused it or it has a way to sort of avoid it. And one of those exceptions, for example, is lightning striking. Now, some people like to build wooden roofs in Minecraft. Some even build wall roofs.
Looking at me,
Right.
it's not at all like the grandest castle in my realm actually has a roof fully built of wool.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
No,
but
we did get some fires.
yeah, so to try to help the players with that, we are introducing the lightning rod.
That is very useful for all the wool roofs.
Copper, copper, copper. Now, I've wanted this since 2015. I've just wanted copper. I never thought that we get a telescope or like the roofs. I never really thought that. All I wanted to really build, because back then I was so obsessed with cities, all I really wanted to build was the Statue of Liberty. I thought we could I thought it would be different and not like we have to soak it in water somehow, but still, it's doing that, like you could literally build the Statue of Liberty. I'm thinking of that. I don't live in New York, but I'm still thinking of that. I'm still thinking of not Minecraft, of the Statue of Liberty. Back then I was really obsessed with like buildings and like big cities, and I like the biggest city in my opinion in America is like New York. So that's what I thought. So I'm like, you know what? I want to build stuff like that. I literally have like a Lego model of the Statue of Liberty somewhere in my room. So anyway, let's move on to the next thing on my list. But before I do that, I almost got you there. Copper, like we got telescopes. Those are really cool. Like literally, like most of these things like really look like they came out straight from a mod and put into Minecraft, like I said before. So we could use that, and we could get to build things like building. And like time lapse was really cool. The way it showed how passing of time really was a big factor here, and the way you could slowly change. It's not like a bop, like boom. It's like slowly. It's like different. It's like weird like that, but it's really cool at the same time. So seriously, let's get on to the next thing on my list.
Get into our prototype process, and actually I think until I saw those sketches by the art team, I didn't really understand what archaeology in Minecraft even means.
Archaeology?
Yes, so we're actually adding a new system called the Archaeology system. In this system, you're basically going to find these excavation sites all throughout your world. And you can make this new tool called the brush that is going to help you uncover the mysteries of all these dig sites. So you come to one of these ancient structures and you can sort of use the brush to clear away some of the rubble that may have collapsed in those structures. And sometimes you might even find something shiny inside them. But, and this is important, if you are not careful enough, like in real life, you can destroy that artifact. And when that artifact is gone, that artifact and all the secrets it held are gone forever. But if you're careful enough, if you take your time and you're deliberate, you can get some of those hidden artifacts. And for example, here we got a ceramic shard, which is basically how whoever lived here used to tell and pass on their stories.
I love the story sides of the archaeology, because we often talk about that we want to deepen the mystery in Minecraft. And when you find these hidden artifacts, you kind of find like connections and hints. And we will never tell the full story, but these will inspire the players to tell their own stories about their own Minecraft worlds.
Exactly. I think it's going to be really exciting to see what players do with them. For example, here we see an exhibition that someone built for this, where he can compare all the different clues he finds, right, and try to preserve whatever was down here, and he can compare what we found with whatever new thing, and sort of try to connect the pieces, right? And here we see those pieces connected in a clay pot, actually trying to reconstruct them back. And you can create that however you like. You can create your own stories or try to guess how those pieces used to connect.
Yeah. It's also so fun to be very creative with these new pots, because you can put the shards in any way you want.
Exactly, and when you're pleased with your creation, you can fire them up, and you have your own painted clay pot.
Pretty. So, Nir, is this programmer art still?
Yeah, the art we're seeing is still work in progress, but I personally like the dragon. I think it's cute.
Yeah, it didn't say programmer art isn't pretty.
Yeah, you know, the problem is the artists are way too good.
Yeah.
Right? They just make us look bad. I don't know.
Archaeology is amazing. I mean, the excavation site is so incredible.
I'm so excited about this. I've spent a lot of time about it, and I actually got to do a lot of awesome conversations with actual archaeologists from all around the world, and it's been, honestly, I sort of feel like I got so passionate about it myself that their passion sort of stuck to me, and it was so amazing to learn more about this, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here.
And you have a dev diary coming out on our YouTube channel where you kind of explore all of the archaeology even more.
Yeah, it's honestly really, really exciting. So I had so much fun with this, and I learned so much that I decided that it can't stop with me. So we're going to do a dev diary when we're actually going to talk to those archaeologists. And actually, we might even get to visit some interesting locations.
That is amazing.
Archaeology in Minecraft now. I've been thinking about this for like a few months now. I've actually just started thinking about it. I had a dream about it. I'm not going to say I had all the brush streams or it was like a vision of the future. I just had a dream about it. I was just thinking about Minecraft one day and I was just like, I want archaeology in Minecraft. Had a dream. Didn't have anything like that. I didn't expect artifacts. I did. What? Pottery? That's pretty cool. I was like maybe you can put flowers in there. I mean, the flower pots in Minecraft currently are pretty cool, but they're not as cool as, you know, what we have, like what they showcased here. Like I don't know what we can put in there, like display different things. But anyway, archaeology, like we have like the we can like when you broke that diamond, I was like, oh, I want that, like that diamond block. It's 9 diamonds you just wasted right there. But yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited for what we could see. I already know that it's going to be probably one of the best updates yet. So let's get on to 2 more things left in this video, and then I'll end off the video. So, archaeology in Minecraft? Yes. Yes.
But we've been hinting at a new mob, like over the course of the show, like 3 or 4 times. So are you going to tell us about it now,
Yes,
please?
now we're going to tell you. It's the cutest predator you will ever meet.
feel like there's only one sound I can make after seeing that, which is like.
Cute.
It's so adorable. The axolotls.
How did you decide on axolotls?
So when we add a new mob to Minecraft, we really wanted to have like its own unique character. We wanted to have purpose, and it's also a very good thing if it happens to be ugly cute. And the axolotl is perfect. It has all of these things. Well, I guess on the ugly cuteness, it might be quite a big emphasis on the cute side, but still. And we actually had a brainstorm in the team. So we were like, okay, we're gonna add goats, but we want to add another animal. And then one of the developers posted like a big picture of an axolotl, and we all went like, yes,
Yes, this right
perfect.
now.
It's like the definition of ugly cute. It's like made for Minecraft.
Perfect.
And then we also found out that axolotls are endangered in the real world, and we think it's good to add endangered animals to Minecraft to create awareness around that. So that's also a good thing.
Like with the bees.
Yes, like with the bees last year, for example. But yeah, so the axolotls, as you saw in the video, they live in the lush caves and they really add a lot of life to the lush caves. And there's also a bucket of axolotl.
I didn't think it could get
Look,
cuter,
I know.
but
That is just so cute. I don't know how to handle it, but it's so cute. So when you're walking around in the lush caves and you see some axolotls, then you can actually scoop them up in your bucket and take them with you. So maybe you build like a pretty aquarium for them in your base, or maybe you bring them to your ocean adventure.
and now I see why you're calling them the cutest predator you'll ever meet.
Exactly. So when you scoop them up in a bucket, you can actually create your own axolotl army, basically, and charge into the oceans with them, and they will help you fight various. Well, they'll attack cute fish as well, but they'll help you fight the drowns and the guardians, and they're actually quite useful when fighting guardians because they have this special ability that whenever they take damage, they sort of play dead. And when they're playing dead, no mob will actually attack them. So they have this time to regen back help and then jump back into the fight together with you. And if you learn how to cooperate with them really well, they might even heal you during the battle.
That is so cool. But okay, so you added these two mobs that are like as different as possible with the warden and the axolotl.
Yes. So this update is actually a lot about contrast, which is great because it creates like a dramatic player experience, which is so good. So we're like updating the highest heights of Minecraft with the mountains. We're updating like the deepest of the caves. We have this terrifying warden, the cutest axolotl, and also in the caves, like the lush caves are very light and welcoming, and then the deep dark is like super scary and challenging.
Axolotl is very cute. Just very nice. And they spawn in lush caves, a new biome that we're also going to get in the cave update. It's very exciting. I can't wait until we get any more content. Like, what else can they pour in here? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's some cool things in here. I like how they said that they're doing different things, like Axolotl is a very cute mob, but then the scariness of the warden, and all the way up to the tops of the cliffs, and then all the way down at the bottom, finding all the different kind of blocks, all vegetation. I like how they did that. And it's like very different. It's not just one concrete update, and then it's other things as well, but kind of in the same theme of the update. The theme is the cave, but still has other things like the mountain update and some other things. So we're going to get into the last thing right now. So strap your seatbelts because we're going to talk about the goats.
That sounds awesome! Another Minecraft novel, and this one's called The Mountain. Speaking of mountains, remember last year's vote? It was a fierce competition, but the mountains won after 2 intense rounds of voting. Well, I have a sneak peek into what your vote is bringing to Minecraft on the cliff side of the Caves and Cliffs update. Goats. They're both mischievous and adorable at the same time. As you can see, they live on the mountains, and if you aren't careful, they might knock you off. They also have excellent jumping skills. We'll also get better mountain generation with spectacular and more dramatic mountains with height-dependent generation. That means things like tree lines and mountaintops that will be more challenging with lots of snow and ice. And speaking of snow, yes, it will be snowier. We will also have a new block called powder snow, which will be a kind of trap block. It looks similar to snow, but if you or a mob walk on it, you will fall right through. Now let's talk about this year's vote.
Last year's vote had the mountain update, or well, sort of like mountain update. It had the mountains for like the goats and snow and a lot better mountains. Now I didn't vote for this biome. I kind of was with like the swamp and more of the badlands, more of the swamp because of that boat though, So I like that, but I see why they would vote for mountains, and now I kind of like the mountains again. So again, I was skeptical, but now I like it. Now I see what the futures are, and that's what I can encourage you all to do before you just say, okay, I don't like this, but now I do like this. Anyway, so goats, they can buck you off. They can buck you off the mountains. Makes sense. And also, if they're getting added, that's going to be even more harder. If you get bucked off, you literally fall off the nice jagged mountains. They're a lot more taller. They look less like a plateau. Our current mountains look a little more of a plateau. The plateau is like, you know what a plateau is like? It's flat. I learned about it a lot back in 5th grade, but it's a plateau. So it's more of a plateau. It's less of an actual mountain. I mean, it had snow and it had had raised elevation, but less like it didn't really look like a mountain, more of a plateau. So I'm really excited that we're going to get the actual mountains because instead of just plateaus, so we're gonna get mountains. So actual mountains that look like mountains. They're called mountains. They're not mountains, but if they're called mountains and look like mountains, then I'm sold. So goats, maybe goat's milk, be a little bit weird, but goat's milk, I'm fine with that. I'm chill with that. So anyway, that's it for the Minecraft Live. It's a very long video, guys. Probably the longest video I have done just because it's a lot of cave update content. I was going to split up the things like the mobs in one video, but instead of that, I wanted to do everything about the cave update. So this is probably the only long video I will do of this new series that I'm breaking down every Minecraft Live 2020 detail that we've gotten. Well, not every single thing, but I will do that on the stream, like looking at, okay, I noticed these things, like self-doing right now. I'm not trying to copy him, but still. Yeah, so thanks for watching this video. Get into my outro right now. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please like the video and also subscribe because I'm getting close to 60 subscribers. I'm 5 away from 60 subscribers, and 70, 80, 90, 100. I will do a big celebration at 100. I'll do a stream, maybe even all day again, just like I did in Minecraft Live, but maybe a little bit shorter because 6 hours was a lot, especially was I waking up early in the morning. But still, please subscribe. I might not live stream. I was inspired I may live stream again, but I was inspired I may live stream. So I was not going to live stream, but just because I really like live streaming, I like hanging out with you guys. But there are a little bit of lag, but not as much as it used to because I figured it out a little bit. But I'm still getting a quad core in November. Like the time I'm going to buy it, and I have enough money is by, I counted the days, it's going to be November 4th. That's when I'm going to get it. Again, thanks for watching this video. Let's not make this video any longer than it has to be. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Farewell.